Hey there. In the last video, I mentioned how we get conditioned by the conventional educational system, and I thought I just give a few more examples, yeah, along those lines. I'm just gonna turn the camera around and walk a bit with you. From what I've seen, most people who went through the educational system, the conventional one, have a conditioning or a belief, you could also say, that the real learning looks a certain way, and what they see in children when they're playing, I mean, that's all good and well, but that is not true learning. And I've seen that in schools as well, even in alternative schools, that conditioning is so deep, it is very difficult to actually catch that, because there might be extracurricular activities and the arts and all that stuff. It's all good and well, but firstly, it should have a clear starting point and then a clear end point, right? Oftentimes there's a bell that rings at the beginning, and then there's another bell that rings after 45 minutes or whenever. Then typically there's some person standing in front that knows, what this is. Normally there's a subject, a class that has a certain name. I think you can see where I'm going with this, right? It has to look a certain way, and if these criteria are not met, then yes, all interesting, but it's not the real thing. And I think it is very, very difficult actually to break out of that paradigm, to really get out of that box and to take something else seriously. There's another element that I've seen is when we came to Goa after 10 years in Kerala, right, in a small village, we moved to Goa, and there were so many foreigners here who had children of more or less our daughter's age. Many of them were very alternative, so to say. But what I observed as the children were getting older is that fear crept in. They realized that, oh, this kid is one day going to be 18. And then the question is, how is he or she going to make a living in this world? And when fear creeps in, we get tunnel vision. And I think we as parents then, we try to get to safety. And well, what that means for the children oftentimes is now we have to be real. Realistic, so to say. Begs the question, whose reality? But suddenly I started them here saying things like, we have to be realistic, we want to keep doors open and all these things. And well, I was genuinely surprised. At this point I don't want to go into a deep exploration of conventional education and comparing it with homeschooling and unschooling and all the rest of it. I just wanted to point out how conditioned we all are, and that it is quite a challenge to become aware of them, and it really takes a clear vision also of what we want to create. Otherwise we're just gonna fall back on what we experienced. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying here that only alternative education is good and that everyone should do that. I'm not saying that. No, that's not where I'm going with this. I think for me much more interesting is to catch oneself, so to say. I just found, accompanying my own daughter in this kind of off-road learning journey, everything is learning basically, and everything can be an opportunity for exploration. There is no clear line between now it's time to learn, right? Now this is serious, and now you can have fun. The learning can be fun, right? The learning can be the exploration, and I think I see great beauty in that. Yeah. And I see exactly the same thing when teaching languages, for example. Right? For example, as long as one is communicating in target language, it doesn't matter so much what exactly, right? But to talk about it in another language, well, that's certainly not it. And yeah, these are just a few observations I made along my way. There's so much more, but it's quite a challenge to where to even start with all of this. For me, the most natural way to share about this topic would be to simply have a conversation with somebody who's interested in it. I mean, I would have loved to speak to somebody who had already walked that path when I embarked on it, because my daughter's now 20, and so I'm basically looking back. Yeah, if you're interested, send me a message or leave a comment. See you then. Have a beautiful day.